So this is your little Mini Thumper portable gunning etching press video, how-to video. Thank you for buying your Mini Thumper from us. We hope you have many years of happy printing with it, portable happy printing with it. We are always here to help if you need any help, so please don't hesitate to get in touch, give us a call. But here is a walkthrough of this press. Has absolutely incredible capability. It can print any plate from fine photogravure, mezzotint, etchings, through to letterpress. It's really compact, it's really easy to set up, and it's really hard to break. The one way that you can almost break your press, but it is fixable, is by turning one of the Tommy bars all the way to the top and leaving the other one at the bottom. Basically, you're going to jam that roller. So always just move these together. All the bearings in here, I've got all like bushings in, so there's no need to re-oil, and the only part you need to oil is maybe every 5-10 years, depending on how much you use it. Really, is a bit of moly grease or bearing grease in here, which is this movement here, just to keep that going. Apart from that, it is built to withstand many thousands of prints. So I'm now going to show you how to set the press up for both Intaglio and Relief. You also get these with the press. Now, right now on the press bed, there are safety stops on. This is a bolt that goes through the registration bed and your press bed. This holds, this basically stops the bed from shooting out when it hits the roller, so you don't ever have to worry about that. Now, right now there are runners in the press, as you know. Now, what can happen is over time, if you don't secure these down, they can move all over the place. So we provide these with the press. Now, these bolts will come off. Extra long ones we provide with the press. They go through, bolt in exactly the same way, and that holds your runners in place. You don't have to use them, but I like to, especially when you're doing a workshop with 20 kids. You just want to be able to set the pressure on the press and print. Now, I keep all of my spare bolts in the 4 holes that are in the bottom of the press. We put these holes in the bottom of the press so that you can screw the whole press down onto a work surface if you want to. I don't bother, because I just use the clamps that we provide with the press, which, as you can see, are really solid. Now, for Intaglio, you have blankets, and we suggest you buy these 2 blankets, the 1.5 and the 8mm raised felt. Now, when you're printing reliefs, we suggest you use the 4mm runners that came with your press for single lino blocks or wood blocks, or any block that is lower than 4mm thick, with packing paper on top of the paper you're printing on to pack up to the top roller, which I'll show you in a minute. When you're doing reductions or multiple plate, then we highly recommend that you use that 8mm thick runners. The trick is with relief is to always use runners that are higher than the block that you're printing. You use packing paper on top of the paper you're printing on just to kiss the plate. First off, I'm just going to talk you through the press. The press, these are the Tommy bars here. They move in and out here if you want to use that. I don't tend to use that a lot. Now, this is brilliant because it's lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. And this top roller lifts all the way up to here. So you can get a really good thick block in there if you'd like to. Now, when you set the pressure for Intaglio, these blankets here, the 1.5 tightly woven blanket. Now, it needs to go next to the paper that you're printing on. So we feed those through, make them straight, righty-tighty. Now go all the way down until these are both feeling exactly the same. Now if you want to do it really tight, you can. And they'll both point in the same directions. And then feel how this feels to pull through. Now this is when this will come in handy, because you'll be able to push this back. That's too tight. You never want to print anything on that tightness. This press really packs a punch. Top and bottom rollers are solid. So to set the pressure for mezzotints, for etchings, aquatints, dry points, I would go all the way down like that and then come back on myself about a 1/4 of a turn. Feel how that feels. Then do what's called a ghost print. Now when we use the press, we always pull this star wheel towards us. And the safety stop at the end will stop the press bed from shooting out. Now to do a ghost print, we'll use, it's just a copper photo etching. This could go on here. We can just use a nice sheet of South Bank Smooth. I want to show you what it's like to pull the press through. Here we go. So I'm going to pull this towards me. I can't feel anything yet, but I'm about to go up on top of that plate, and it's got harder because this is a direct drive press. It's not hard, not really hard, but you can feel the pressure. You can feel it through the star wheel, and then you feel it come off as well, because no press with a solid top roller, solid bottom roller with a bed going through it likes to go up and down steps, and that's why we use a nice 8mm thick blanket. And again, you can come all the way to the end because the safety stop the bed from shooting out. The ghost print is great because dry paper, you can just check out the emboss, which is, this is absolutely perfect. A bit too heavy actually. When you look closely, you can actually see the indent of the actual lines that have been etched into the plate. That is Intaglio. Change the press to relief, lefty loosey. Take your blankets out. Now I'm just going to set the pressure for single block linos, wood blocks, or any plate that's thicker than 2.5, 3mm thick. I've put the runners in. These are 4mm. I'm just going to righty-tighty that down. Doesn't need to be hard pressure. It just needs to be able to grab it so that you can just pull that through. You can see it's not really hard pressure. Now when we're doing a print, this is fantastic the way this works. We put because we've got the registration bed, the block, whatever you're printing that is lower than your 4mm runners can go straight onto the press bed. And the paper that you're printing, everything needs to go in between your runners. And then 4 sheets of packing paper. I like to use South Bank Smooth. And that's it. You pull this through and you'll feel a slight bite, nowhere near as much as the bite that you feel for when you're printing Intaglio, because with this we're running over the runners and we're kissing the pressure down. We're not going up and over and squashing, we're kissing. Now when we've got through, we can lift the packing paper up and then we can lift the print. And that's a great print. Now, if you have a problem with the print, as in if it's a bit speckly maybe, there's possibly two things that have gone wrong. You're not enough packing paper, or you're not using the right ink. Too runny ink applied with a soft roller which applies tons of ink, you'll apply too much of it and you'll get slip. So to fix that, magnesium carbonate into your ink to make it stiffer, and you use a hard roller, a hard shore roller. Now we make and sell rollers, they're brilliant. If you apply ink with a hard roller, you'll apply a perfectly thin layer of ink. And that is how to set your press up. Now when we start doing reductions and multiple plates, we want to use registration pins. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So this is how how we do registration for reduction and for multiple plates here. There's 2 different ways. This is a reduction. This is the end of a reduction that I made. These are our registration pins. They're metal pins. Now I like to glue or double-side tape my plate down onto a piece of MDF or hardboard. I use registration pins either side, and then I use tabs on the paper to put the tabs onto here. And then we use tabs onto the paper, so that every single time we use this, the tabs will go back over. Now we make these in-house. These are my design, and they're brilliant because they're done. Sellotape them onto the board. Now I do both sides. The reason I do both sides is because if you have got too much ink on, or your ink's a little bit runny, or if it's a really hot day, then if you're pulling it through the press this way, and you've got reg pins both sides, the paper can't sort of go squiff either way. So that works really, really nicely. Now this is obviously a little bit too big for this press. This is actually for my number 2 press, which is behind me. That's reduction. This is multiple plate. It's exactly the same principle. Registration pins both sides, but there's a very, very tight gap here which I can replace my lino blocks with, so I can swap them out. Now lino is all wood blocks. Lino is brilliant and wood blocks are brilliant. However, if you're going to do multiple blocks, always check the final size of each block fits in here, because even though they're from the same batch, there could be a mill out, and that will change everything in your print run. And when you're using this system here, which is absolutely second to none, I do workshops with upwards of 10 people in, and all of the prints come off absolutely beautifully, perfectly registered. But when you are using this, you need to have 8mm thick runners on your press, not the 4mm, because remember, you always have runners that are higher than your block, than your sandwich, because you're using packing paper on top to kiss the plate, just like I showed you in the print earlier. Another part of your press is you've got your star wheel. This comes off with one bolt. Your press bed itself, the safety stops come off, so your bed can come out. And you also have these are the same colour as your press, whether it's black or powder coated, a different colour. And these are clamps that will clamp your press onto any work surface, which is really, really great. Makes it really solid. You can, if you want to, buy this table as well. This is a wiping table, registration bed on top, and it's got lockable wheels as well, which is awesome. There's one shelf in this one, but you can actually have as many shelves as well. That was a real quick walkthrough, really, of how to set the pressure, how to look after your press a bit. But like we've said before, if you need any help or support, no question is too small. Just get in touch. Email, phone, and just really enjoy your press. The press will end up being an extension to you as a printmaker. And it really is something quite special. So good luck with all your printing, wishing you massive success, and thank you for buying your gunning etching press from us. Happy printmaking.